Broadcasting live from the ESPN Radio Winchester studios, breaking down all the chaos from the weekend. It's time for Mayhem Monday on Franklin County's favorite morning show, The Starting Lineup, fueled by Loco Coffee. And now for your hosts, Joe Abraham and Chewy.
And good morning and welcome into the starting lineup on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. I am Joe Abraham, joined by my friend here in the beautiful, palatial ESPN Radio Winchester studios. The Wookiee one, the board lord, the master of disaster himself, Chewy. How are you today, my friend?
I'm all right. The weather's back.
Yeah.
The things are going back to normal.
Hanging in there like a loose tooth?
Yeah. I had a wild weekend, to say in the very least.
Yeah. You and I went and saw a movie together over the weekend. Now, I don't know how the rest of your weekend went, because I pretty much avoided you after that uncomfortable situation. We went and saw Scary Movie. And so just to pull back the curtain on this, I texted you because you had said that you'd wanted to go to, they were having like a Scary Movie night over at the, not the Oldham, the Montana Drive-In.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted you and I was like, hey, are you going to that thing? And you wanted to go, but you weren't sure if you were going to go now because Tori didn't necessarily want to go. And so I was like, well, I'll go with you.
Mm-hmm.
I need a minute. I need to just get away and just take a minute. And so you took me on a date, which I appreciate. But no, we pull up, and we really had no plans. We were like, okay, let's go over there. Let's see what's up. Pretty good crowd out there. We had to sit in line for a minute to get in.
Yeah, place was packed. I was happy to see it. I was very excited.
Got in just in time. And then we went to go get food, and the line was so long. And really, we stood there, and we realized that we both just wanted a drink.
Yeah.
So we stood there for like 30 minutes, missed the first 5 minutes of the movie or something like that because we're waiting on our drink. Recommendation, if you're going to the drive-in on a beautiful night like it was Friday night, get there early.
Yeah.
Don't do what we did and wait till the last moment to decide.
You can tell, like, and again, I'm a theater guy, so I gauge my time on, like, how theaters work,
Yeah.
but drive-ins are totally different.
Yeah.
So do it, like you said, accordingly.
Yeah.
Plan accordingly.
And then we then sat through what may have been the worst movie I have ever seen.
Yeah, that was some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. That was,
and I don't mean it was like bad but funny.
no.
I don't mean it was so dumb that it was entertaining. There were certain aspects of it that you couldn't avoid. They were funny.
Every now and again, you get a chuckle.
Yeah, but I'm not a big parody movie fan myself in the first place. But then when they start because it's what, Scary Movie like 27,
Yeah.
or something like that. I think it's like number 6 or 7. Anyway, here's the thing: when you start making the parody movie a parody about the parody movies,
Yeah.
it was tough.
Yeah, it was sort of like, and it was funny because you could tell like multiple writers were working on it.
Yeah.
Because somewhere every 15 minutes, like a really clever like tiny gag
Right.
would happen. Spoiler alert if you care. There's a scene where they're parodying Sinners, and he has that like old 1920s like car,
Yeah.
real fancy thing, and then he parks it, and then he plugs it into an EV outside the church, and I was like, that's really funny. I was
That's
like, I want that, but
Yeah.
the majority of the movie was not that.
The majority of the movie wasn't clever or witty. It was
No.
vulgar, which is so. Here's the other funny thing that I learned. Since the last time I've watched one of these style movies, I have changed a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Most of the movie, I spent squirming in my chair very, very uncomfortably. And to a certain extent where I was like, I can't believe they can like get away with making this movie today with a lot of what was going on. 16, 18, 20 some odd year-old me may have laughed at a lot of this movie. 37, 30, how old am I now? 30, am I 38? Oh my gosh. Was not as funny. Not as funny at all.
And it's weird because like a teenager won't enjoy this movie because all the movies that they're making fun of are like outside, like because like there was like Sinners and like the clown from that white I know his name is Art, but that clown that you see popped up, he's in Spencer's everywhere. He was in it. And you know, it's like those were really kind of the only modern movie references. The rest, it was all based on like stuff from the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, who is this movie for except for the Wayans to go and make another one? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was weird. Like you said, it referenced movies, even itself. Because when did the first one come out?
2000 something? Like 2000, 2001?
Yeah,
somewhere around there?
somewhere around 25, 26, 27 years ago. And so, again, like that's me, you know, and I don't think that humor translates over the course of 30 years.
It does not. There's a reason we stopped making these.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway, so that wasn't the most interesting part of my weekend.
Oh.
It was one of the most interesting, but not the most interesting part. And we'll follow up with Chewy and see what else went on with his weekend. But I got to go to the Keller meet and greet the other night as well.
Okay.
And today we got a lot to get into on the show. I believe in hour number 2, the Franklin County Prevention Coalition is scheduled to come in as they normally do on the second Monday of the month. So they should be in here with us in hour number 2. If not, we'll circle back around and talk more about the topics that we're going to talk about to kick off the show, which is the sheriff's race. But here on the show this morning, we also have got trivia coming up later in hour number 1, as well as we're going to go out to Heath Automotive and Poultry Electric later in this hour. So I encourage you to stick around. I encourage you to get involved. And you can do that you can call into the show, 931-967-3500. You can text the show, 931-305-5611. And you can jump in on the FMO Facebook feed. And so there's been a lot of speculation about, like, the first time we brought up the sheriff's race. You know, I was talking about the number 0 and the drug arrests and the Huntland numbers and things like that. And that was something that was posted on the Tim Fuller campaign page. And so I dove into it. And I said during that show that I wasn't necessarily going after one group or the other. And it's not my goal to pick who wins this election or anything like that. It's my goal to talk about the things that seem to matter to the people and have those conversations. Do it on air. Here's where I'm at right now. I need to meet Troy Parsons Jr. because I've started to get into the Tim Fuller stuff. I know a little bit about Tim, obviously. I know, you know, through our relationship, even with working with the department and Sam and their policies and things like that. And I've dove into the Keller stuff, had a good conversation with him. You know who I don't know anything about is Troy Parsons Jr., really. And as a part of this process, that's my goal, is not only to learn myself about each one of these candidates, but to help other people. If they have not had a chance to meet the candidates and understand their platforms and their policies and all of those things, that's my goal, is to try and get some of that out there. It's not necessarily to endorse one or the other or anything like that. Now, I want to hear from you guys in the chat about some of the stuff that we're talking about. And when I went the other day, Chewy, I walked away with some observations. So we'll start with my observations from going to the Charles Keller meet and greet. And the first thing that stood out to me was the support. When I first showed up, it was about an hour in. I think it started at 4 p.m. I got there around 5. And there were a good bit of people there. You had people wearing hats, people wearing shirts, people talking to Charles and his supporters and things like that. The volunteers, people having good conversations. Honestly, I was pretty impressed with the showing. And I've seen plenty of campaigns where you walk in and it's mostly, family members and a handful of friends and things like that. And that wasn't necessarily the case when I got there. There were a lot of community supporters. There were business owners. There were professionals. There were retired law enforcement, voters, and a pretty broad, I would say, cross-section of the county. It was a good mix. And so if you have not gone to one of these events before, this is, in my mind, one of the bare minimum things that you can do. It's easy. They will feed you. You can have literally face-to-face conversations with the candidate, his supporters, and try and get to know both, like I said, the policies, the platform, the man himself. And that's what I tried to do. And they gave me a good bit of time. I talked to Charles for quite a while. Talked to some of the other folks there for quite a while. And I think the thing that surprised me the most, Chewy, is these aren't people who dislike Tim Fuller. That was one of the things that I'll say right off the rip. Nobody there told me that Tim was a bad sheriff. Everybody was respectful of him. Nobody said that he was corrupt. Nobody was saying that the sheriff's office was a disaster. What I did keep hearing from them is that it's time. It's time. That was kind of the theme. And when you talk about being in office for 20 years, there is a good argument to consider there. And that's their main positioning on some of the stuff, is that after 20 years, it might be time for a new set of eyes. Time for a new set of ideas. Time for a transition that happens, more, I don't know if intentionally is the right word. I would say intentionally would be more on Tim's time frame, right? But one that happens proactively, offensively.
Sure.
Rather than reactively or defensively.
Yeah.
And some of the strongest stuff that I heard from Keller directly, as there's the music for the first break, we'll come back and continue to talk about this, is that, sometimes people who have been somewhere for 20 years, they don't necessarily see opportunities that somebody new might spot immediately. And honestly, that's true in a lot of worlds, especially in the business world. It's true in sports. It's true in schools. It's true in radio. And sometimes you miss those things. Stop seeing the forest for the trees type of deal. And when we come back, we'll continue to talk about my impressions of Keller and the Keller campaign. Again, I really appreciate the time they took for me the other day. And we'll also talk about the idea of GPS on sheriff's office vehicles. We'll do that next. It is a starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester.
Many forms. It may involve abusing methamphetamine or prescribed ADHD medication. Both carry real risks when not used safely or under medical supervision. Prevention starts with education and open communication. The Franklin County Prevention Coalition provides tools and local resources to help families make informed decisions. When we stay proactive, we are stronger together, and we are stronger without it. Learn more at fcpctn.org. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Kids, pets, muddy shoes. Life happens. That's why more homeowners are choosing beautiful, durable flooring from Discount Floors and More. From waterproof luxury vinyl plank to hardwood, tile, and carpet, their team will help you find the right floor for your home and your budget. With over 30 years of experience and professional installation, you can buy with confidence. Discount Floors and More on the bypass in Winchester and on the web at discountfloorsandmoretn.com.
From the 931 Weather Center, it's time for an ESPN Winchester weather update. Looking forward to an absolutely beautiful night tonight, cooling all the way down to 63 degrees tonight and some calm winds to keep you nice and cool after our hot summer day. Tomorrow morning is going to be more of the same in the high to mid 60s, so get out there and enjoy your beautiful night while you stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is ESPN Radio Winchester, where Franklin County comes to life. From local news and athletics to everything in between, we're proud to bring you the stories that matter right here at home. And it's all made possible by local businesses connecting with real people in our community every single day. When you support them, you support our local coverage. Over 75 years of Franklin County heritage. Want your business to be a part of it? Contact WCDT today. ESPN Radio Winchester. Franklin County plays here.
Joe had to mix up some more pre-workout, but he's ready to go another round. Back to the starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio Winchester.
All right, back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. So we talked about the fact that the Keller campaign mentioned, 20 years is a long time to be in any position. And so my next thought is regarding that, and we will get into the technology aspect. Jim Sanders posted in the comments asking a question about the radio system, and we're going to talk about the GPS on the vehicles and other things like that. But so here's where I start to struggle with the argument. Okay, is what problem are voters trying to solve? And that's not a criticism of Keller or of Tim Fuller. It's a question I genuinely have. Because response times are good. The schools have SROs. The department's generally respected. The culture is pretty good. If you're voting for change, what specifically are we trying to improve? And that's a real question that I have. What are some things that listeners can identify? And this is important because this is what we're voting for. Whether the Tim Fuller group that's in there currently in the sheriff's department is the group that moving forward is elected to continue and have this responsibility, or whether it's somebody else, whether it's Troy Parsons Jr., whether it's Charles Keller. The question is, what are the problems that the community wants to solve? And what kind of changes are they voting for, or do they want to see? One of those big ones is technology, from what I've heard. But maybe it's accountability. Maybe it's the perception of the good old boy system. Maybe it's just that 20 years has been long enough, and they feel like it's time for some new blood. I want to hear from people this morning about the actual problem that they want to see solved through the race. If they're going to vote for somebody else to replace Tim Fuller, what is the priority? What is the thing that we want to see solved? Now, one of the conversations is in regard to the technology. And Jim brought up the TACN, which I don't know a whole lot about. I do know that it is the standard right now as far as first responders communication. And I don't think that we are using it. According to Jim Sanders, we're not. But that is something, again, that's new to me and I've got to look into. What I do know is that we're not using GPS on police cruisers or first responders' vehicles, and that is one thing that Charles mentioned to me that he would like to, from a policy standpoint, that he would like to initiate. Now, I will say this. I'll come out and say this. I didn't know, when Charles told me this, I didn't know that he had not put that out there yet, that was one of the things that he was interested in doing. There's been some backlash toward him in regard to doing something like that. I won't say necessarily from who, it's just from around the county. There are people who don't like it, and then there's also a lot of people who are like, why would you not? And I kind of fall into the latter category. And there's arguments both ways, but if we track private entities, businesses, and Charles comes from the Woodall Grain Company world, is where he's currently at when he's not wearing his hat as the police chief over there at Huntland. But if we track these vehicles that drive around on the road from a business standpoint, and we're keeping our eyes on the drivers, we know where they're located, we know what's going on, because the owners of those companies are protecting their investment, making sure the guys are doing their jobs and things like that, and for insurance and safety purposes, all of these other things. I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea to do with taxpayer dollars. And these guys who are putting their lives on the line, these vehicles which are loaded down with weapons and safety equipment and other things like that, and they're responding to these calls and things. I think that it's important to have a lot of transparency. I think that initially officers kicked back on all over the country, like the body cams. Mm-hmm. And now I would say that they probably are very thankful for the body cams, because there's a lot of situations, especially in today's climate, that those things tell the truth, mm-hmm. right? And to me, it's not the whole monitoring the cars, where they're at, when they're at, is not about Franklin County deputies doing their jobs. That's not what I'm talking about. And I had the conversation with Sam Davidson about it. I asked him, kind of what he thought about it. And his opinion was, well, you trust me enough to carry a badge and to literally take away somebody's freedom, but you don't trust me enough not to monitor me.
Yes.
And I see that argument 100%. I don't think that it's about trusting the men. I think it's more about protecting them and also protecting taxpayer dollars and things like that. Knowing, seeing the transparency of it all. And it is a fair point what he brings up. And again, I understand where he's coming from, and a lot of officers probably feel that way. I don't know how many people would say they want to be monitored, every second of them doing their job. Well, if y'all monitored me when I'm sitting at my computer doing my stuff off the show, yeah. I probably wouldn't like it either. But I don't see it more as a trust issue. I see it more as a technology issue, right? And if we've got the technology to do it, to make the job more efficient and to do it more efficiently, I like that. I'm not assuming that any of the officers are bad people or not doing their job or anything like that. We're tracking school buses. We track other utility companies, track probably dump trucks and things like that. Trash trucks and delivery companies track their vehicles. And I think that if we've got the ability to do it, it should be done. So for me, it's not about accountability. It's more about safety. What if there's a crash? What if there's a medical emergency? What if there's a dangerous situation? And we live in a very rural area. So to me, having the ability to know where the officers are at and what's going on, I think that's important. That part resonated with me. And I do go back to the body cams. I think that a lot of officers probably are glad that they are currently wearing them. Now, here's the wrinkle of that, Chewy. Here's the opposite argument to the not against the safety and the cameras and the GPS and things like that. It's just doesn't come free. And we can say, oh, yeah, we should have those in every car. It's a no-brainer, until you realize the expense that comes along with them is hundreds of thousands of dollars up front probably, and then I don't know what it would cost per year after that, but we're probably looking at $50,000 to $100,000 a year just in terms of maintaining them. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the question becomes, is the GPS the amount of improvement as far as safety and accountability and all the other things, is it worth the investment? Or would taxpayers rather see that money go somewhere else? This is where it gets really interesting, because when you think about $50,000 to $100,000 a year, that could be an officer or two on staff.
That's a good point.
There could be a lot of other things that money could go towards. And then finally, the biggest question of all is this goes to the communications network. It goes to the GPS system. Again, we're talking about an election that's going to be over the course of the next 4 years. Whoever gets elected here, they're going to serve for the next 4 years. So 4 years from now, if every patrol vehicle is going to be expected to have this kind of technology anyway, where are we at with that? Because I would say that if in 4 years we don't have the radio systems that most departments are using now in the state of Tennessee, or we don't have the GPS that cars are already enabled with a lot of times now in the state of Tennessee, I would say that if we don't have it 4 years from now, we're way far behind the curve.
Jim Sanders did jump in saying, I'm sure the sheriff, chiefs of department, and fire should be in play for the radio stuff, and he says he's not sure if that's more of a 911 thing. But also, Kaylin Lindsay jumped in saying that there are grants. So
there are grants.
There's a few avenues here.
There are grants, and we've been good at getting grants in the past. I also got a text message that said that it would cost about $25 a month per vehicle that it was on.
Okay.
About $25 a month per vehicle that it was on, which is, to me, that's probably worth the investment.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I go back to 4 years from now, are we even going to have – is this even going to be a question? Like, to me, it's got to happen in the next 4 years regardless of who wins the election. And if it's not being planned for, it should be. If it's not something we're considering, it should be. And I think the uncomfortable part of this, Chewy, is – and here's how I'm going to put this. I would say that most listeners tuning in this morning – most listeners are going to say, yeah, that's probably something that needs to happen. It's a fairly obvious. But if you asked any of the law enforcement officers, they would probably be the ones who'd give you the most kickback on it. I don't know if that's the right word, pushback on it. Because if you're a law enforcement officer, it's like, geez, I can't even friggin' go to the bathroom without them monitoring. I got this body cam on me all the time. I'm tracked up, I'm mounted up, they're tracking every aspect of my life. And I can't even sit in my car for 5 seconds without them sitting there monitoring me, watching me, figuring it out. And so it's uncomfortable because you've got the guys doing the job who are like, I really don't want that. Not because they're doing anything wrong per se. There's always that, outlier that there could be somebody, but setting that aside, for the most part these guys are out there doing our job. Let me put it this way: the response times for Franklin County Sheriff's Department are tremendous. They're very good. And so here's a great situation that we are in. It's a good situation that we're in. Things are already very, very good. And the things that we're talking about improving are so incremental that these are good problems to have, right?
Yeah.
Because we're already doing a very good job. The concern comes back to, okay, if you have somebody new come in, that's new culture, new leadership from the top down, all that type of thing, does that mess with kind of the good stuff that you've got going on? To that, I would say, a lot of these guys have been working together in and around each other for the last 20 years. It's just a change of leadership. I think it's interesting. We'll continue the conversation when we come back. It is the starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
The Starting Lineup with Joe and Chewy is presented by Loco in Winchester. Right here in Winchester, Loco is doing things their own way. From locally roasted Loco coffee to a one-of-a-kind shop experience. It's a place that's built for the Franklin County community. So if you haven't stopped by yet, now's the time. Support local. Drink Loco coffee, fueling Franklin County mornings. Roasted right here in Franklin County. And don't forget to tune into The Starting Lineup, weekdays from 7 to 9.
Spring is in the air, and so are fresh new savings at Furniture Merchandise Outlet, FMO, right here in Tullahoma. Ready to refresh your space? From living rooms and bedrooms to dining sets and mattresses, FMO has the styles you want at prices you'll love. No long waits, no sticker shock. Just take it home today. Visit them at 105 North Jackson Street in Tullahoma or browse anytime at FMOTN.com. Furniture Merchandise Outlet, where spring cleaning turns into a spring upgrade.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
The City of Winchester is advising residents of temporary road closures as paving work is scheduled for Bible Crossing Road. According to the Mayor's Office, Tinsley Paving will be working on Friday, June 5th, paving the section of Bible Crossing Road that has been under construction between Old Estill Road and Highway 130. City officials say there will be no through traffic during paving operations. Access will be limited to residents who live within the work zone. Drivers are encouraged to plan ahead, use alternate routes if possible, and exercise caution around construction crews and equipment. An update from the city indicates work is already underway after officials were notified of an unexpected scheduling availability. The decision was made to move forward in an effort to complete the long-running infrastructure project as quickly as possible. Residents experiencing difficulty accessing their homes are advised to notify traffic flaggers on site for assistance. Franklin County Schools is also celebrating a strong start to summer learning at the Rock Creek Summer Campsite. Students kicked off the week with a luau-themed celebration, welcoming campers into what district leaders describe as a fun and engaging environment. Estill Nazarene members visited as guest readers and provided snacks for students, while the Franklin County Sheriff's Department brought its K-9 unit for a special demonstration. Students learned about the role the highly trained dogs play in keeping our community safe. And in Nashville, CMA Fest is officially underway. Fans from across the country and around the world have filled downtown for the 4-day celebration. Major concerts are being held nightly at Nissan Stadium, while free performances line Lower Broadway throughout the day. The festival runs throughout this weekend. In a small area like Franklin County, staying connected matters. So stay connected to your community with 931go.com and ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show. I like your show. I've been watching you for years. I like you, but I don't like you. I don't know you like Tennessee or Alabama. I don't know which one you like, but I know you don't like the Auburn Tigers, man.
Willie, thank you. I'm a little bit confused by liking me and not liking me, but you laid out your case very well.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC network.
For over 75 years, one thing has never changed in Winchester, Tennessee. Hall Furniture has been there through it all. 3 generations, decades of trust, and the commitment to quality, value, and service that still comes first today. As we celebrate over 75 years in business, we want to say thank you to our loyal customers, our community, and to everyone who has made Hall Furniture a Winchester tradition. Hall Furniture, here's to another 75 years of helping you make a house feel like home.
Well, that was an interesting last segment. Let's try that again. Back to Joe Abraham and Chewy. This is the Starting Lineup on ESPN Radio Winchester.
All right, back here on the Starting Lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester. I am Joe Abraham alongside Chewy. And I'll apologize up front to you guys if you wanted me to, end the show or end talking about this by endorsing one candidate over the other or something like that. That's not going to happen. What I want to put out there is some of this information and have the conversation. If there are people who are unaware of some of this stuff, like I was, I'm doing more research on this stuff and being introduced to more of this information than the average person would probably have access to. But I have no background in law enforcement. Don't know how it necessarily works. And a lot of what I'm diving into is stuff that maybe the normal person doesn't necessarily have the time to go through and to do. Okay. Now, that being said, we're going to talk about the things that I think are interesting to the conversation, to the debate. And I went up there and I had the conversation face-to-face with Charles Keller. I told him that I would. They invited me out there to get to know him, to get to know their platform and things like that. And I told him I would. And I did. And respectfully, I got to say, I was impressed by the man. I was impressed by some of the things that he said. I was impressed by some of the things that, and I have respect for him and all the people that are there. And they gave me some things to think about as somebody who's got a Tim Fuller sign up in my yard. But I didn't go home and I didn't rip the Tim Fuller sign out of my yard. I didn't go home and I didn't wear the Charles Keller hat that they gave me. What I did is I went home and I started talking to people that I know who have either worked in law enforcement or currently working in law enforcement and asked them some questions, got some insight. And I think that this is even more so why it's important that we have these guys in the same room to talk about some of this stuff. I go back to whether you want to call it a debate or a forum or whatever the case is. I want to have them in the same room together. I think we could get them boom, boom, boom right here at these seats and ask them some questions. I also think that we could have them in individually. I want to have them in individually so that we can just relax and have a conversation. My goal is to have some kind of a forum with them all together by like the second week of July is my hope. Have it shortly before the election and have them in here. Before now and then, I'd love to have them each on individually. I gotta sit down and talk to Troy Parsons Jr. Don't know him from Adam. I could run into him tomorrow on the street and wouldn't know. But that's a part of this process that I hope that you continue to go through with us. Now, I think that from where I'm at right now is that, number one, meeting Charles, having a conversation with him, I've got respect for the man. I respect where he's coming from. And I wouldn't say that I know one way or the other. My camera go off again? What is wrong with this camera?
Just died.
What I would say, though, is that he gave me some things to think about. And as far as the Tim Fuller campaign and the position there, everybody's always got stuff that they can work on. Everybody's always got stuff that they can work on. You know, we don't want to rest on our laurels. We don't want to take a break. We don't want to continue trying to work to improve. And I think that we all have room for improvement. Every day I do this show, I get done, and if I listen back to 5 minutes of it, I turn it off in disgust. Man, I thought I was better than that. I thought I had come further than that. If you watch any kind of sports, one of the things that they do is they self-scout. Every few weeks, they watch themselves. They keep analytics on themselves. How and where can we get better? And that's a part of this conversation. You may think, Joe went after the Keller campaign with the 0 drug arrests in Huntland a week or so ago. And now today you may be thinking, oh, man, Joe's really, he seems to be supporting Keller and kind of running Tim up the road. That's not what I'm saying on either way. What I'm saying is these are talking points that have been brought up within this election, and what do? We talk about it. It's up to you guys to make a decision on some of these things. Folks have jumped in the chat and talked about the fact that they can be paid for, probably through grant money. the question came up as far as the response times. That is what's the word for that, Chewy? That's just something that I've heard, anecdotal. That's something that I've heard over the past, however many. We can look into. I'll look into the actual response times and where we stand, because she may be right. I may be completely off base. It's my impression that our response times, as far as a rural area in the state of Tennessee, that our response times are pretty good. But I may be wrong. All right. What we've got to do right now is we're going to turn around and we're going to call out to Drafts and Watercrafts every Monday at 7:40. We do trivia with Scotty, so we'll go out to him. You get a chance now to win something. Figure out what it is here in just a second. From over at Drafts and Watercrafts.
Watercrafts.
There he is. Scotty, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. Y'all doing okay?
I am tremendous. How are you? How was your weekend?
It was a great weekend, very busy. Weather was nice, except for yesterday. But Friday and Saturday, the weather was great.
Well, the weather doesn't affect what you guys really do underneath the covering there out at Drafts and Watercrafts. And tonight you guys scheduled to have trivia over there. And for folks who may just be listening for the first time here on a Monday, they call in. If they get the answer right, they win something that they can redeem out there at Drafts and Watercrafts. And what would they win today?
Today we're going to give away a pulled pork barbecue sandwich with kettle chips.
So you can win a pulled pork sandwich lunch, basically, or dinner, I guess. When can they redeem
lunch
that?
or dinner today.
Okay.
They can redeem it today for lunch or dinner. And, we do our pulled pork in-house. We smoke our own pulled pork, and we got a huge indoor smoker that we smoke butts off every day.
That's why it smells so good over there. I always thought it was just you baking in the sun out there, but I guess it's the pulled pork. So what do you got going on this week over there at Drafts and Watercrafts?
Well, we got a full week, as we was talking trivia tonight starting at 6:30. It's absolutely free. You can come out and play. Lasts for about an hour, hour and a half. So come play it. Tomorrow night we've got a gentleman named Tim Taylor going to be playing from 5 to 8. Wednesdays we do Singo, which is also absolutely free to come play. Thursday we got week 4 of Lake Idle. Sign up start at 6, 7 the Idle starts. We're giving away $1,000 to the winner on it. Friday night we've got a gentleman named Hank Utter from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday night we got Sticky Kim from 7 to 10:30, and then Sunday we've got 12 to 3. We got a gentleman named Travis Franklin out of Murfreesboro. So we've got a full week of entertainment coming up.
That's tremendous. Well, for folks who haven't got out there and enjoyed the beautiful restaurant that is Drafts and Watercrafts, my question to you is, what are you doing? And number 2, what has been your favorite part of this season to this point, Scotty?
Well, if you've never been to see us, we're a floating restaurant floating out in the Tennis Ford Lake, and we're open 7 days a week. We're open 11 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then Saturday and Sundays we open at 8:30 and we do breakfast. So we're open 7 days a week until mid-October. So, one of our favorite things, this weekend they had the antique boat show down at Drafts and Watercrafts, and I really enjoyed it. They had a water plane that flew in and landed on the lake and came over and joined in, and so that was pretty cool. They also had an AMPA car. Have you seen those, the cars that go from land to water?
No, I've heard about them. I've seen them on the TV, but I've never seen one in person.
They had one of those down there, and so had a lot of the old mahogany wooden boats. I think they had 22 of those there all weekend. So that was really cool to see all those. Had people from all over the United States bringing in these antique boats.
Well, as far as trivia today, a quick question for you. You guys, you mentioned breakfast. Are you guys still serving the loco coffee for the breakfast?
We do. We do loco coffee on Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah, that's tremendous. All right, what is our trivia question for today? And again, if you get the question right, you can redeem a pulled pork barbecue sandwich and kettle chips over there at Drafts and Watercrafts. The phone number, you're going to want to load this into your phone, 931-967-3500, 931-967-3500, and the first caller to get the question right is going to win that sandwich and kettle chips. But what's the trivia question you got for us today, Scotty?
And also, if you haven't won the past 30 days, you can call
thank
in
you.
and
Yeah.
win. We're going to do a movie question this morning.
Okay.
You ready?
I am waiting on pins and needles, my friend.
The 1975 movie Jaws.
Oh.
Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, we've been watching a lot lately, actually.
Have you?
Yeah.
What was the name of Quint's boat?
What was the name of Quint's boat on Jaws? That is a tremendous question. Again, the number is 931-967-3500, 931-967-3500.
I knew it was my time to shine one of these days.
You got it?
I did, yeah.
I know it. It's just somewhere hidden in my mind.
I had a model of it as a child, and I'm like, as soon as he asked that question, I saw it on the side of it, and I was like, no way.
So Chewy's finally got one. Again, if you know the name 931-967-3500, you can win a pulled pork barbecue sandwich and kettle chips over there at Drafts and Watercrafts. It's like right there. It's like on the tip of my tongue.
I imagine when you hear it, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah." You know,
we literally, Scotty, have had that movie going on replay basically the past week or so. But I think you may have stumped him this morning because the phones are pretty quiet. Again,
here we go.
931-967-3500. We got a caller. Let's see if they can get it.
Go ahead, caller.
The Orca.
That's correct.
Hey,
that is it. Good
not
job.
Bad.
Caller, what's your name?
Sean Voodoo.
Sean, you have won a sandwich, pulled pork barbecue sandwich, and kettle chips over there at Drafts and Watercrafts, redeemable this afternoon or this evening.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Scotty.
So the answer is the Orca.
So now they get to keep that answer with them. If they come to trivia tonight, they've got one in their back pocket.
That's right. They know they will not. At least know they get one question right. Did you ask Jeffro about his lawsuit? He probably wouldn't go into it, would he?
No, he wouldn't. But you broke him. you broke his brain. He didn't know how to respond. That was the first time I've heard him speechless. Yeah. He didn't know how to respond. So I've got to follow up with him, though. He said he was going to have something for you. So we'll see.
I know it's what he was saying, so we'll find out.
All right, brother. Have a good one out there.
All right, y'all too. Talk to you next week.
All right. That is Scotty over at Drafts and Watercrafts. We'll wrap up hour number one when we come back. This is the starting lineup. ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
I don't know what to tell you. I know it's not much, but this is the best they've got. You're listening to the starting lineup on ESPN Radio WCDT Winchester.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, and compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester.
From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester, or check out everything they offer online at ReliableRentalFC.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
When life hits you hard, you need someone who will stand up and fight back for you. Andy Davis, attorney at law, serves Southern Middle Tennessee in personal injury, criminal defense, family law, bankruptcy, and more. Call today to set up your free consultation, where you'll get clear answers, honest guidance, and a plan built around your needs. Online at southerninjurylaw.com. This is an advertisement. Andy Davis, attorney at law, responsible for content. No representation is made that the quality of legal services is greater than that of other lawyers.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. Joe Abraham along with Chewy. And this is why I like having these conversations. We're about to go out to Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware. But Ryan Fuller jumping in saying the infrastructure to ensure the coverage of TACN, which is the radio, that radio standard that the state uses, would cost in the millions. We could absolutely make it happen in Winchester and Deckard on the infrastructure side. The challenge is the county with the covering both sides of the mountain. We're in the process of going digital, which isn't TACN, but it's an improvement. The hardest cost for each department is the Ford, the car, and portable radios. So I think that that's interesting. Now, if we need to put a tower up on a mountain, we're looking at, okay, we got to figure out where we're going to put it, and then we got to actually build the tower, whatever the case is. And Jim Sanders responded that the infrastructure's there and that the Tennessee State Trooper. But this is what I like. This is conversation, respectful back and forth between both sides. Now, two guys that don't really have respectful back and forth between them, Scotty and Jeff. Now we go out. We just got done with Scotty, and the last question he asked Jeff was, did Scotty tell you about his lawsuit? And I said no, but he told me that he was going to have something for you. So have you prepared a response for him?
I really have prepared a response, but it's not a very good response like he got me on. Okay, but I will go on and tell you this story, and I got to get it all straight here. It was hilarious, but not to the point of what he got me.
Yeah.
Years ago, his dad said he could check out of school,
Mm-hmm.
And you know how most mischievous, Scotty got the first of most mischievous. Well, the note that Tommy had sent with Scotty was he could check out at 1 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
So Scotty, how easy it is, 1 o'clock. Well, Scotty changes it from 1 to 11, just adds a 1 to it, makes it 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, we're on the boulevard down here at the old high school, we're not out there on the bypass.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy is out and about in town, and he drives by just a few minutes after 11, and he sees Scotty going down the road. So he runs Scotty down and makes Scotty go back in there and tell Carmack, I think it was Carmack, it could have been, what was the other guy, Adam Carmack? Mr. Counts. It might have been Mr. Counts. But he goes back in there, and Tommy makes Scotty tell on himself for changing that 1 to 11, and he has to go back to class for an hour and a half,
yeah.
And then he gets to check out at 1 o'clock. So that's the best I can come up with right now, okay?
That's good. That's good parenting right there. That doesn't happen with kids nowadays.
Yeah. I know. I mean, today they would have just said, okay, and got by with it. But no, not Tommy now. Tommy made Scotty go back in there, and he had to stay there for another hour and a half. And he had to tell the teacher what he did. And then I'll go one step further. I forget now what happened, but I think Scotty I'm almost positive he had like extended school stay or whatever they call that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
For telling a lie, and changing that. And Tommy said, whatever they do to you, I'm going to honor it. So, hey, it was what it was,
Oh, man.
There are several things that Scotty's did, but we got to keep it G-rated on the radio here,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I've heard some whispers.
So he's saved by the rating of the radio. Okay.
So what do you got going on out there at Poultry Electric and Pro Hardware?
Well, it's we was dry, and then we get rain. Humans were not happy, right?
Yeah.
We was sad because it was so dry. It was becoming a desert out there, and now it's rained every other day, which is great. We need the rain, but it hurts. It hurts my landscaping business. It hurts my contractors outside digging. It hurts my underground services. But what it does pick up, we had like 5 deliveries of houses. 3 of the 5 deliveries Friday was 3 of them was all new kitchen sets. Not just a new washer or dryer. It was literally 3 deliveries of a whole new kitchen. That's the microwave, that's the dishwasher, that's the refrigerator.
Wow.
The range. So I think it's helped that part of it. I think people's had time to come in here. They can't get outside and work, so we're going to replace the kitchen, you know. And one of those was a new construction, and it was more of a custom build. And it had a GE Cafe, which GE Cafe is the upper echelon, the higher-end appliance, you know, which looks really, really nice. And then there was one that was a rental. And on the rental, you know, it's pretty much a stripped-down, plain Jane version. And I say all that to say this. So you're on the rental side, which is pretty much a stripped-down version, all the way up to the high end of the Cafe series.
Right.
So Poultry Electric Pro Hardware and Appliances, I was told last week by Google and everyone, talking to them, that we have to put appliances into every word we put out now because it'll just make the hits on the internet better.
Yeah,
so we got to put appliances there. We got to add appliances there every time we put Poultry Electric Pro Hardware in writing somewhere. You know it.
Yeah, it'll definitely help. You guys have been moving those appliances.
We have, and one of those sets was a twin. You know what a twin is?
No, I do not.
Not twin kids, not twin boys, not twin children. Twin refrigerators.
Okay.
The left-hand side is a upright freezer.
Okay.
Or the right-hand side is a refrigerator. Or you can reverse it if you want to. If you'd rather have your refrigerator on the left, you can have your freezer on the right. And so it's basically 2 units acting as a refrigerator and a freezer, and they sit side by side, and they're about 5 foot long. The one we delivered the other day was 5 foot.
Wow.
You know, a normal refrigerator is about 34 inches, right?
Right.
So you're sitting for the twins, and they're 60 inches, and that set that we delivered was a Frigidaire, Frigidaire Gallery series. So we've sold a couple of sets of those twins. I don't know that we've ever spoke about them on the radio here, but we have sold, say 4 or less. I know I can look and see 2 of them going out, know where they went, and then Friday was the 3rd one, and I think there was one on display back here that we sold also. I know there was one. Alan Schultz bought a set. So, no, we've sold 5 sets of those, which is, you know, and so if you're looking for a set of twins, hey, come and see us here at Poultry Electric Pro Hardware. We can sell you a set of twins, you know. We're not taking any of your twins back. If you got twin kids, we're not trading them in for twin refrigerators, okay?
There you go.
So, hey, if you painting, Benjamin Moore Paint, we've been really busy in the Benjamin Moore Paint department. And I'll tell you this story here, you know, customer service is where it's at, correct?
Yes,
Poultry
sir.
Electric, we pride ourselves on customer service. Friday morning, we mix some Benjamin Moore Paint Thursday evening. Friday morning, we get a phone call from the contractor, and the contractor's got this lady's color cards, and she calls to order a paint in. But the contractor's there Friday morning. He's picked it up. He's there to paint. And he calls and says, hey, we got a problem. So this color is nowhere near correct.
Uh-oh.
So I said, you know, do we mess up? What do we do? You know, I'm sitting here, and I go look at the color back there, and I say, Johnny, get in the vehicle, go straight to the job site right now. It's 8 o'clock. He just walked in the door. I said, let's go to the job site. We get to the job site. The lady looks, there's 3 colors on this color card, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's looking at the middle color, and that's the one she wants, but she tells us the name of the bottom color, which is darker than the middle color.
Yeah.
So when we get there, Johnny, first thing he does is he takes a sample of the one we mixed, dries it to the color card that she wants, and it's wrong. But he finds out that it matches the bottom color. So what the lady did, the lady looked at the middle color, but she said the wrong name, and the name was on the bottom color. So no problem. He's got painters there, contractors there, she's there. Johnny comes right back to the store, mixes the proper one, carries it back to the job site. Come to find out, he only got 3 gallons of the wrong color. So he's using it as his first coat, and he's going to top coat it with the correct coat.
Oh.
You know, so it all worked out. But customer, I got a phone call this morning thanking us for going through that. You know, we made it happen in about an hour and a half there, the whole turnaround from going up there and finding out what was wrong with it to coming back to the store to mix it and then delivering the paint back, solving the problem. So if you got some Benjamin Moore issues, Benjamin Moore paint, you need some painting done, it's raining outside, you want to do a little painting in the house, come and see us here. Electrical, plumbing, everything you got going on, nuts, bolts, fasteners, ladders, whatever it may be. Poacher Electric Pro Hardware, 1991 Sharp Springs Road. Call us at 967-7351. Find us on the web at poacherelectric.com.
All right, brother. Good job by you, and way to go on that customer service, my friend.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.
You too. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have the Franklin County Prevention Coalition in here in hour number 2, I believe. And, again, I want to finish this back and forth between Jim Sanders and Ryan Fuller, again, talking about the TAC and cost on the Facebook feed. And we can get into this more. Again, I think that it's a conversation worth having, but this is just part of, again, the discussion. This is an area for an opportunity for improvement. I think that what both men agree on is that the current radio situation is not viable going forward, so they're working on different solutions. But we'll talk about that when we come back. It is the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
At ESPN Radio Winchester, our partners use aligned marketing. Radio, billboards, sports, even digital, all working together to build familiarity faster and more efficiently. Less noise, less competition, less waste. A lot of places sell ads, play commercials, and move on. But that's not marketing. We help businesses build a strategy with consistent messaging and creative that's actually remembered. Ads come and go. Marketing compounds. That's the difference between buying spots and building a brand with ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a 5th-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester or check out everything they offer online at ReliableRentalFC.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
When life hits you hard, you need someone who will stand up and fight back for you. Andy Davis, attorney at law, serves Southern Middle Tennessee in personal injury, criminal defense, family law, bankruptcy, and more. Call today to set up your free consultation, where you'll get clear answers, honest guidance, and a plan built around your needs. Online at southerninjurylaw.com. This is an advertisement. Andy Davis, attorney at law, responsible for content. No representation is made that the quality of legal services is greater than that of other lawyers.
The future of healthcare starts here. The Southern Tennessee Regional Health System, Winchester and Suwannee, are joining the High Point Health System with Ascension St. Thomas. a health network serving communities across the state. We're working together to expand access, improve clinical quality, and keep you close to home throughout your care journey. Your favorite providers aren't going anywhere. It's the same care you know and trust, now with a new name. High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas. Learn more at highpointhealthsystem.com.
Back here for hour number 2 on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT, Winchester, Joe Abraham, and Chewy. And now we get a chance to bring in studio for a quick conversation this morning about what they've got coming up. It's the Franklin County Prevention Coalition. Miss Felicia and Mr. Eric in studio with us this morning. And you guys actually have an event coming up. Speaking of things coming up, you got one coming up this Friday, right? The June 12th from 3 to 7 p.m. over at Morris Ferry Boat Ramp. We've got the badges and bobbers, which we spoke about last week. And I'm excited. We're actually going to be out there at that thing. I think I'm bringing a big dog out there who is also – Tom Abraham is the host of nationally syndicated Bassmaster Radio. And he loves fishing so much. As soon as he heard about this thing, he's like, "Oh man, we got to be out there!" In his classic Tom Abraham voice.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good, right? But I know that you guys have put in a lot of work on this thing. I know that you're excited for it. But tell folks a little bit about it if they didn't get a chance to hear our conversation last week.
So we're super excited about this event, partnering with a lot of different organizations. One of them being the Franklin County Sheriff's Department, the TWRA. Also the firemen across Franklin County. What it is a free fishing event for families to get out and fish with us. Don't worry about bringing anything, just come on. We're going to have fishing poles for the children and tackle boxes, at least for the first 100. After that, we don't know. We hope to have more. We're going to have some giveaways. We're going to have some meet and greets. It sounds like your dad will be part of that meet and greet. We're going to have a canine unit out there. We're just going to have a lot of stuff for families to get out and enjoy the outdoors.
It's to give families in the county an opportunity to meet the first responders that do so much, and to have a fishing fun day that is free to the children.
Eric, I heard that you laid the smackdown with all the badges around town. You basically said that you're going to catch the biggest fish, and they're not going to be able to keep up with you. But I'm just throwing that out there. I think that all the kids, all the badges that are going to be out there, they got to bring their A game if they're going to take you down.
That is true. That is true. I plan on catching the biggest fish and probably the most fish.
Yeah,
it probably won't happen, but that's my plan.
Well, one of the last times I went fishing with my father, he caught me. So there's that.
Oh, I have fear of that. Let's not have that going down, please. I've told everybody. I can't handle that.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about it because it's something that I'm passionate about, and it's a cool way to engage with, again, folks that you don't necessarily see or get a chance to engage with a lot of times outside of the uniform and such. And so it's going to be fun, and that's coming up this Friday, June 12th, from 3 to 7 p.m. over there at Morris Ferry Boat Ramp. And it's a great thing to do this summer. But that's not the only thing that you guys have going on or that you're working on.
Oh, no. I tell you what, I got to be a part of something this weekend that I don't think I've ever experienced. Cason Orr and his family hosted that remote area medical clinic. Wow. That was impressive to be a part of, and I just want to give a shout out to him and his family for the work and dedication they did bringing that event to Franklin County. We were able to train 40 individuals and give them naloxone.
Oh, wow.
Countless resources, countless conversations with physicians and optometrists and dentists. Just found it really impactful. It was one of those things that seemed like everything was working against us actually being at the event, and then we were able to go, and there was bigger plans involved. So we were so great to be a part of that, and appreciate him thinking of us. Our meeting's coming up, our coalition meeting, June 15th. If you have never attended a coalition meeting, please come. Even if you have, please come back if you've been missing. We'll feed you lunch, always have somebody good speaking. Lots of resources at the table, great networking also, but that's at noon at the county annex. Shout out to our county mayor, Chris Guest, for allowing us to use that awesome facility and for all he does to support us at the coalition. And I just want to say I had several incoming county commissioners and then several that are already on the county commission Saturday just, show their support and continued support. And we could not do the work we do without them and their support in this county.
That's accurate. We have a lot of support from the community leaders, and I think it shows as we continue to grow the impact throughout the county.
Yeah. Well, and the growth has shown as well. I know that room over there that you guys use, it's needed because you need a big space for all the folks that you have that show up to that meeting, and it is a tremendous meeting as well. I try to make it every time. What I like is that you guys have folks come in and talk about different things, and it's really educational. Going to it, you learn from the experts themselves who are dealing with certain aspects of. It could be anything, but it's really neat. If you haven't had a chance to make it to that event, I recommend that you try and make it to one of those, and you'll want to come back. I promise you.
Then we've got on June 25th, Dustin will be hosting a naloxone training and something we like to call Franklin County Prevention Coalition Overview at the Senior Citizens at 9:30. And what that looks like is Eric's vision for the coalition is from infancy all the way to seniors. So we want to start getting out, reaching our senior community, educating them about, medication safety, the need for lock boxes, things of that nature. And then also naloxone. So many people ask me Saturday, do I need to be carrying naloxone? I recommend everybody be trained in carrying naloxone. You never know what kind of situation you could encounter. And Dustin can tell you a lot more about the statistics, but accidental overdose in seniors is increasingly growing.
Just basic information, such as maybe a medication list or a log, so you don't forget. I mean, as you get older, you forget things. You may take your medication twice, and that's where a lot of those accidental overdoses are coming from. So we just want to be able to provide that education and the resources to prevent as much of those as possible.
Yeah, it is something to think about, and you don't really consider it. When you talk about overdose, you think about like the traditional way that TV portrays and things like that, but I would assume that a lot of the overdoses stem from like non-traditional situations like you mentioned. And if you've ever had a surgery or something like that, or as your parents get older and things, the number of medications that you can be on at once is hard to keep up with, and they got to all be taken in different intervals and all this stuff. And I've been through that before, where it is for somebody who is not on the medication, it's tough to keep up with the what and the when you're supposed to take it, much less if you're the one that's on the medication trying to recover from something like that or dealing with something like that, and you're maybe not thinking clearly, or you got some cloudiness or whatever. Like I said, it's tough if you're there. It's really tough if you are dealing with some of those side effects. So I think that it's extremely important, like you guys said, for just about anybody and everybody. I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't want that training and wouldn't want to have something like that on you in case.
I mean, anytime you educate yourself on a thing that you're not accustomed to, most things that we do are just muscle memory and habit. But when you're in a whole new situation where you're going through a surgery or recovering from something, it's you have to learn that behavior. It just doesn't come natural.
Yeah. Well, tremendous. What else you got coming up?
Well, that's really all we have on the books for June, believe it or not, but I'm sure there'll be some more added things. We are really hustling across the county to sit down with principals, and we have been so blessed with principals reaching out to us and getting their plans for the upcoming school year. We are also working a lot with the Regional Faith-Based Recovery Initiative program. So Jolene Shipley, we were just up with her in Columbia on Friday, and she gave a shout out in the regional meeting to us in Franklin County for our work. So we would love to encourage more recovery congregations to join us. We currently now here in the county have 3, and I'm in contact, and so is dealing with several others. But if you want to know what that looks like, please just reach out to our office, and we'd be glad to tell you. And another thing we're really wanting to do is some more civic group trainings.
Yes.
Got into the or presentations. Got into the Lions Club in Estill, and a shout out to them and their support. They immediately the next day was at the office with a check supporting us in the work we do. A lot of people think we're grant funded and we have plenty of money. Sadly, that's not the case. A lot of the things that we provide for the community take up a lot of that grant money. And there's always a need for growth and to be able to get additional materials and trainings and to be able to, seek out some additional resources.
And who better to partner with than the civic groups of the community? They are really the heartbeat of each individual little area that, we would love to be able to support and gain their support throughout the county.
Yeah. Well, that's, again, every time we talk to you guys, it's eye-opening, and I'm very involved with them. And every time, like I said, that I speak with them, I learn something. And so if you're not keeping up with if you haven't gone to fcpctn.org and looked at the programs and the initiatives that they've got going on, you're not doing yourself a justice for yourself individually or for the people around you. I think that it's great, the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you so much. Shout out to Melanie DeBose for putting our website together. She does an amazing job keeping that updated.
Yeah.
And then also shout out to Robbie today. He is actually at TTI, which is a Teen Leadership Institute.
Yeah.
So he and Eric Vanzat are there all week, and we've got 6 Youth Coalition members there. We're excited to see what they bring back to help us implement in the schools too. So, we have so many players at our table, but we're working in so many different ways, and sometimes it's hard for us to even remember what all's going on and be able to highlight everybody in the works they're doing. And I'm sure Dylan and Dustin are off in other counties today doing great things. So,
well, speaking of coming to the table with you guys, one more time, when is the next Prevention Coalition meeting?
So June 15th, and that's going to be at the county annex at noon. So come join us. You may not think, I don't know, how does a radio station play into prevention? How does my HVAC company play into? I promise there's a way we can partner. I promise there's a need for you, whether it's just knowing, maybe workplace drug safety, or we may be connecting you to some other resource, but there's a reason for you to be at our table, and we always want everybody in Franklin County at our table. It's crucial to the work we're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
Great stuff, guys. And don't forget, this Friday, June 12th, 3 to 7 p.m. over at Morris Ferry Boat Ramp, it is Badges and Bobbers. Again, thank you so much to Eric and Miss Felicia from the Franklin County Prevention Coalition for stopping by this morning. We'll be back on the other side. This is ESPN Radio, 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester.
Spring is in the air, and so are fresh new savings at Furniture Merchandise Outlet, FMO, right here in Tullahoma. Ready to refresh your space? From living rooms and bedrooms to dining sets and mattresses, FMO has the styles you want at prices you'll love. No long waits, no sticker shock. Just take it home today. Visit them at 105 North Jackson Street in Tullahoma, or browse anytime at fmotn.com. Furniture Merchandise Outlet, where spring cleaning turns into a spring upgrade.
Feeling under the weather? Need a quick checkup or urgent care? Look no further than Complete Express Care in Winchester. Our expert medical team is here to provide fast, reliable care when you need it most. From minor illnesses and injuries to lab tests and x-rays. No appointment necessary. Visit us today at 1211 Dinah Shore Boulevard in Winchester, or call us at 931-967-6669. Complete Express Care. Your health, our priority.
From the 931 Go Weather Center, it's time for an ESPN Radio Winchester weather update, presented by Bennett's Pharmacy.
Looking forward to an absolutely beautiful night tonight, cooling all the way down to 63 degrees tonight and some calm winds to keep you nice and cool after our hot summer day. Tomorrow morning is going to be more of the same in the high to mid 60s, so get out there and enjoy your beautiful night while you stay tuned to ESPN Radio Winchester.
At Bennett's Pharmacy in Winchester, we're more than a pharmacy. We're your partner in health. Conveniently located at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard, we're here to serve you with fast, friendly, and personalized service. Need prescriptions filled? Looking for over-the-counter products? We've got you covered. Plus, enjoy local delivery and expert advice from our caring team. Call us today at 931-967-2777 or stop by Bennett's Pharmacy at 1201 Dinah Shore Boulevard today.
years, one thing has never changed in Winchester, Tennessee. Hall Furniture has been there through it all. 3 generations, decades of trust, and the commitment to quality, value, and service that still comes first today. As we celebrate over 75 years in business, we want to say thank you to our loyal customers, our community, and to everyone who has made Hall Furniture a Winchester tradition. Hall Furniture, here's to another 75 years of helping you make a house feel like home.
I don't know what to tell you. I know it's not much, but this is the best they've got. You're listening to the starting lineup on ESPN Radio, WCDT Winchester.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio, 1340, 1069 WCDT Winchester. Thank you to Felicia and Eric for stopping by this morning. All right, so we've talked a little bit, and Chewy doing a good job managing. One of our cameras is just decided doesn't want to hang out with us this morning.
Didn't call in for a day off.
No, yeah. Gonna have to.
Mother of God, I'm stuck on a hole. Today has just gone wonderfully so far.
So I appreciate folks sticking with us. Now, one of the conversations that popped up in the chat, and we've been talking about, again, my experience going out to the Keller campaign meet and greet at the end of last week. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't really know what to expect for the simple fact that, with Chewy, there were a lot of people not too happy with me after the last conversation we had regarding the sheriff's, what would you call it? The
sheriff's race?
Race, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm.
It's Monday.
Yeah, sure. That's the excuse. Sure, it's not the CTE or anything rearing its head again or something like that. I don't know. Does anybody else have those issues just on a regular basis where your brain just gets stuck, kind of like a computer, and you all I can think of is if you got a Mac or if you got you see the wheel spinning, the pinwheel is spinning. That's what my brain does sometimes. Anyway, so the sheriff's race, the conversation that we had the last time upset some people with me, and probably rightfully so. But the thing is, I walked in there. They were all very nice, very respectful, and we had the conversations about the platform, about the policy, and all that stuff. And I'll say this. There are not too many things that I disagree with. Through the whole course of the conversation, there's a lot of things that they talk about that make sense. And here's the thing. We are in a very good spot thanks to Tim Fuller and thanks to the people who have been there over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. The leadership in the county has put us in a very good spot. Are there areas, opportunities to improve? Yes. That is the case, I believe, for anybody and everybody. You could be Tom Brady, winning Super Bowls, and you still have room to improve, right? So do I believe that that's the case, that we have some areas to improve? Yeah, I do. The question is, and what a lot of voters have to ask themselves is, are we in a place where we need to make a change and the issues are pressing enough to make the change now, or we're fearful about where the next 4 years go? Tim has kind of made it public that this is his last go round, that he's got four years left in him, and he wants to go out on his own terms, and that includes being there for the next 4 years. And then you've got the other side of it that's hey, let's go out on top. Let's move in not a different direction, but let's put some new blood in there. And again, it's not necessarily about dismantling what Tim Fuller has maybe put into place. There have been people who have thrown out there the removal of SROs in schools. That has never been something that Charles Keller has promoted or said that he was going to do. So there are some conversations, some real conversations that need to continue being had and that have happened over the last, however many months leading up to this. And this is not the first time. Again, every time Tim Fuller runs for sheriff, 4 years ago, he had people that were running against him that said that it was time for a change. This is not something new. And he's dealt with this before, and he's continued to be successful. Look at the positive things that he's done over the last 4 years. So I'm not leaning or saying things one way or the other.
The new guys will have a much harder boulder to push up a hill, though, because like we've said throughout a large part of the show is we're in a good spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people like being in good spots like this. You're really going to need to give some very solid reasons as to, what's this leadership change really needed for.
Yeah.
And again, this is not ESPN talking. This is not Joe talking. This is me talking. I have an issue with if it's minutia and we're complaining about minutia, that minutia can be fixed with the current status quo. You know what I mean? But you would have to, and again, you need to present something where it's like, hey, I can get this done. I believe this is how we can do this, and I think this is the reason why I should be in this position, and only I can achieve it. You know what I mean? I need a reason that's so solid and so clear that I'm like, okay, let's go there. You know what I mean? And I'm open to that, like you said. I just don't know if I personally have heard it yet.
Yeah. Well, and that's a big part of this, and I think the most dangerous thing that we've got working here from either side, from both sides, and even going on right now, this is where these respectful conversations need to continue to stay respectful, in my opinion, is you've got, and sheriff's races notoriously have a tendency to get kind of nasty. And I don't want to see this one go that way, because you've got guys working in the same departments or working together from different departments that may support one way or the other. Ultimately, the focus is, and the goal is the same. Where we are rowing to, we all want to get to the same place. We just may have different opinions on how to get there. Now, from my perspective right now, what I see is the Keller campaign feels that, and again, I would like to say, excuse me, to Troy Parsons Jr., I don't know enough about Troy yet and his platform and things like that. I'll be working on that soon. I want to get him in here soon to have some of those conversations on air and such. But from these two perspectives that I'm seeing right now, the Keller campaign feels like they can inject some new blood, some the new eyes, some new technology, some new things that will kind of put jet fuel behind some of the things that the Fuller campaign has done. That the Fuller campaign has steadily headed in the right direction, and by making some tweaks, changes to leadership and changes to how things are done, that they can even improve the direction and the speed in which we're going in the direction that we're going in. Now, the flip side of that is, culture and consistency, there's a lot to be said for that. And to continue making progress and making sure we don't stub our toe and have setbacks where now we're replacing massive groups of officers and things like that, and people are learning new jobs. And, if we replace the sheriff, for example, what's the learning curve look like? Not just for him, but for the people that maybe he puts in place around him. And so there are two sides to this thing. Yeah, maybe there are some things that the Keller campaign has in mind that they feel like they can be very successful on and really make some fast progress with. But on the other side of things, the concern is, what if we come to a screeching halt because some of these things wreck the culture, or there are hurdles or obstacles that maybe the Keller campaign, because they're not in those seats right now, they don't know that they're standing in the way of some of these things. The infrastructure over the TACN is a good example about this when we talk about this. The infrastructure could cost millions. That's the point that Ryan Fuller put out there. And Jim Sanders said the infrastructure to get over the mountain's already there. The Tennessee State Troopers use that infrastructure every day. The cost will be portable radios, car radios, and the revamp at the 911 center. I get that it costs money, but at some point we need to catch up on technology, don't we? Again, good argument. You don't want to fall too far behind, or then the obstacle becomes almost insurmountable. Ryan responded back. We'll get back to that on the other side when we come back. But continue to get involved in the show. You can do that on the FMO Facebook feed or one of the other ways that we've thrown out there. It is a starting lineup. You're listening to ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Here at the Tennessee Lottery, we have a number of draw-style games that are all about, well, numbers. From Powerball and Mega Millions to Millionaire for Life and more. There are a number of reasons to give them a try, and that number starts at more than $20 billion, because that's the number of dollars we've awarded to players. So start thinking about the numbers you want to play today. Or if you don't feel like choosing your numbers, we'll choose them for you. The Tennessee Lottery, game-changing, number-making fun. Please play responsibly.
The Tennessee Lifeline Peer Project connects individuals and families to addiction recovery resources right here in Franklin County and across our region. From treatment referrals and 12-step meetings to education and ongoing support. Because recovery happens when we're stronger together, and life truly is stronger without it. Learn more at fcpctn.org/TNLifeline or call 931-464-0725. Funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
This is ESPN Radio Winchester, where Franklin County comes to life. From local news and athletics to everything in between, we're proud to bring you the stories that matter right here at home. And it's all made possible by local businesses connecting with real people in our community every single day. When you support them, you support our local coverage. Over 75 years of Franklin County heritage. Want your business to be a part of it? Contact WCDT today. ESPN Radio Winchester. Franklin County plays here.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
The City of Winchester is advising residents of temporary road closures as paving work is scheduled for Bible Crossing Road. According to the Mayor's Office, Tinsley Paving will be working on Friday, June 5th, paving the section of Bible Crossing Road that has been under construction between Old Estill Road and Highway 130. City officials say there will be no through traffic during paving operations. Access will be limited to residents who live within the work zone. Drivers are encouraged to plan ahead, use alternate routes if possible, and exercise caution around construction crews and equipment. An update from the city indicates work is already underway after officials were notified of an unexpected scheduling availability. The decision was made to move forward in an effort to complete the long-running infrastructure project as quickly as possible. Residents experiencing difficulty accessing their homes are advised to notify traffic flaggers on site for assistance. Franklin County Schools is also celebrating a strong start to summer learning at the Rock Creek Summer Campsite. Students kicked off the week with a luau-themed celebration, welcoming campers into what district leaders describe as a fun and engaging environment. Estill Nazarene members visited as guest readers and provided snacks for students, while the Franklin County Sheriff's Department brought its K-9 unit for a special demonstration. Students learned about the role the highly trained dogs play in keeping our community safe. And in Nashville, CMA Fest is officially underway. Fans from across the country and around the world have filled downtown for the 4-day celebration. Major concerts are being held nightly at Nissan Stadium, while free performances line Lower Broadway throughout the day. The festival runs throughout this weekend. In a small area like Franklin County, staying connected matters. So stay connected to your community with 931go.com and ESPN Radio Winchester.
When it comes to caring for your loved ones, choose a name you can trust. Inhabit Home Health in Winchester, located at 2068 Cowan Highway. We're here to provide compassionate professional care right in the comfort of your own home. From skilled nursing to therapy services, our team is dedicated to helping you or your loved ones achieve the best quality of life. Call Inhabit Home Health today at 931-967-0633 to learn more about our personalized care plans.
back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340, 1069, WCDT Winchester. So, from within the Facebook feed, the FMO Facebook feed, and again, today's show fueled by Loco Coffee. I think I'm going to need more. So, people have identified that communications are an issue for our first responders. I think that's the most important thing that I'm pulling from the chat right now. There is a technology issue that in this case revolves around not the GPS standpoint of what's in the cars, but of the radios. And so they're going back and forth about the TACN, which is a platform, a communications platform. Now, Chewy, if I pull up Tennessee.gov or tn.gov/safety/TACN, it brings an article that shows the TACN in action. Says the Tennessee Advanced Communications Network is a statewide radio system that provides communication connectivity infrastructure for local, state, and federal first responders. With TACN, first responders, including law enforcement, fire, EMS, and healthcare providers, have reliable communications capabilities for daily operations and the ability to talk to each other, to coordinate at the local, regional, and statewide level to respond to in the event of an emergency or disaster. TACN is made up of mobile and fixed radio transmission sites across the state, so that from Tennessee's urban to the most rural areas, first responders will have consistent communication coverage no matter where you are in Tennessee. Even when other means of communications fail, TACN offers seamless communication for our partners. TACN has built in redundancy to ensure the network will still offer statewide coverage in the event of any location becomes inoperable after a natural or man-made disaster. Okay. So it goes on. It's a lot of fluff about this system. I've got to look into this system because what it shows is a radio tower. It shows the TACN Advanced Communications logo has a tower on it. And I will say this. If this is the network that we're talking about, it includes radio towers. My concern with that, Chewy, we have a radio tower. Radio towers are a good technology, but they're also not perfect. It interests me that there's not a like a satellite system. You want to talk about, and again, I know satellites can even be taken out, but you want to talk about coverage. You don't need to worry about rural coverage if the system is satellite-based.
Like a Starlink thing?
Yeah, per se. Now, connectivity to satellites is a whole nother conversation, I suppose. But it's interesting to me. It's another interesting wrinkle in this because Ryan Fuller is talking about how Scott Smith sometime about the TACN cost. I've been in on those meetings where it's been discussed. If you like TACN and think we are so behind, go ask questions to Scott and Kathy. We're already in the process of upgrading to P25. TACN is not the standard. It's a luxury. I tell people this, cell phones are great until you don't have service. The same would be true for TACN. And then Linda says, except when the surrounding counties have gone to TACN, how will our communications be effective with interoperability on a mass casualty incident? Our county, sorry, the thing keeps jumping. Our county where I work, which is a neighboring county, has recently gone to TACN as well. From what I understand of it, there is no reason we shouldn't upgrade here in Franklin County. Our communications in our remote service areas has 100% improved. No reason not to budget and apply for the available grants. So, I don't know. It's one of those things. It sounds like TACN would be the way to go. And if there is funding out there that we should go after it, but if the people in charge have already identified an alternative solution, the question I suppose it should be asked is, what are the pluses and minuses of each system? why are we going with this P25 digital version if maybe it's not as good? That's what it seems like, is that the cost is lower and that it may not be quote unquote as good. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. The TACN cost is probably something that can be remedied, a lot of that maybe through grants. But again, that's speculation. I'm not the one in the seat. There's a lot of people who are speculating, saying, oh, yeah, it can be covered by grants, who aren't necessarily in the seat. And this Scott Smith appears to be in the seat to kind of know, per Ryan Fuller. So if anybody has more insight on that, I'd love to hear about it. Here's the point, though. Getting down into the minutia and all that that's fine and well and good, and we put people in those seats to make those decisions, and we trust them with those decisions. But here's what we have identified. Okay, so technology going forward for the vehicles, whether it be radio, whether it be the GPS, that is a talking point. That is a concern. How can we better prepare our officers when they're on the road for the things that they may encounter? Again, if we've identified comms as an issue, what does that look like? When we say the comms are an issue, is it like the quality of the radio communications? Because I've listened on the, I've got the app, like the police blotter app thingy, and sometimes you can listen to I can't tell what the crap they're saying half the time. Is that the problem? Or is it something else? Go ahead.
I'd be interested to hear how the first responders feel about it, like if they feel it's necessary. I think it's easy for us as citizens to say we need this thing because we see someone else have it and they say, well, it's been a great improvement. I mean, for them, perhaps. I'm not saying that it isn't, but I would be more interested, like 911 operators, police officers, ambulance drivers. I want to know what their opinion is first.
And is it a priority?
Yes.
Are there things that are more pressing than that, or is this the most pressing thing? And there are plenty of topics that we can get into from a policy perspective. You can have full conversations. We could spend all day talking about the jail. There's plenty of things that we can get into, plenty of areas of opportunity to improve. And there are things going on at the jail, according to Charles Keller, that he would change. And so those are the types of things that I think are important to get out there and to discuss. And if one side feels like they need to be changed and the other side doesn't necessarily feel like there's a problem there, I think that both of those sides should have the opportunity to make their case. And I continue to say this. I want to get these guys in a room to have the conversation and get their insights as to, if one says, yeah, we need to change, here's why I believe we need to change, and the other side says, well, no, they don't necessarily know what they're talking about, or this is my insight, or maybe that's something that they haven't even thought of. I don't know. The point is that we can get better by having that conversation as a whole, by getting in the same room and having that conversation together. So I'm all for that. I want that to happen. And I'm going to schedule a date. I'm just going to schedule a date, and whoever wants to show up can show up. That's not to, force or pressure anybody. I think that it's my job to do that. And I think that both sides should be willing to get in there and have a conversation. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun, but I think it is necessary. I am still learning, and I ask people to be patient with me because I am still learning. And what has been good about this from both sides is that they have been to this point. It's not, oh, Joe doesn't know what he's talking about. It's, if Joe doesn't know what he's talking about, then the reality of the situation is probably a lot of people in our county don't know. And wouldn't you want them to know before they press the button?
Mm-hmm.
that's where I need both sides to come at it from, is Joe is ignorant and naive to what's going on within the sheriff's department, some of the challenges that they do face or some of the successes that they are having in and around the county. And so let's talk about them, make sure that he knows and that the people can then know and have these discussions. The more people that are educated, the more people who will step into that voter's booth confident, and the closer we'll get to making the right decision. That's where I'm coming from on this stuff, okay? So I do think that it's an important conversation to have. If there are other things outside of the communications that are a challenge, that are an issue that need to be discussed, I'd love to hear from you. Jump into the FMO Facebook feed and get involved in the conversation. If you're an officer, a current officer or a former officer, and you've got some insight one way or the other, feel free. You can always text us or send an email to us. If you don't want to, don't want people to know who you are, the best thing I recommend that you do is to text us at 931-305-5611. That's 931-305-5611. I'm not going to ask who you are. If you ask me to look into something, we will do that. Again, regardless of which side that it's on. But what I want to keep it about is I want to keep it about the things that are pertinent to the law enforcement situation. Okay? It doesn't necessarily need to get personal. I do think that, things like the type of person that you are important into making these decisions, but I don't want it to be mudslinging on either side. Both candidates have expressed their desire to keep it clean in that regard, respectful in that regard, and to focus on the issues and focus on how can we make Franklin County safer and better? How can we serve the people better? So that's kind of where I want to live. Do I control that 100%? No, not necessarily. But that's where we're at right now. And the more that I learn and the more that I hear from both sides, from all sides, is again that we need to have these guys in a room together and just have a conversation about some of these things. See if we can't get that done. All right, we'll come back and wrap it up on the other side. And again, I encourage you to reach out if you want to hear more about this stuff. If there's things that I'm still way too ignorant on and you want to help me get there, please help me. Again, the text line 931-305-5611. And you can always email me at abrahambroadcasting@gmail.com. It is the starting lineup. This is ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Check in scissor hands. I'm the wrong guy to ask, but what's the secret to a good haircut?
A good haircut makes you feel confident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when you get that haircut, you're going to walk out that barbershop, you're going to look in the mirror, and you're going to be like, yeah, that's it. And you're going to tip the barber.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC network.
I'm Kristen Abraham, curator of Abraham Art Gallery right on the square in downtown Winchester. Looking for something unique? Every month brings a new featured artist, original art to inspire and share with the community. Come in, explore, and discover art that's ready to go home with you today. Whether you're redecorating, collecting, or just need something that sparks joy, this is your place. We're open Tuesday through Saturday. Find us on Instagram and Facebook. Visit abrahamgallery.com or stop by at 106 North High Street. You never know what you'll fall in love with.
Got a project to tackle or a party to plan? Skip the stress and rent it instead at Reliable Rental in Winchester. From tools and heavy-duty machines to chairs, tables, and event essentials, they've got what you need to get the job done right. Whether it's work or a weekend celebration, Reliable Rental makes it easy. Stop by 2433 Deckard Boulevard in Winchester, or check out everything they offer online at ReliableRentalFC.com. Reliable Rental. When you need it, they've got it.
When life hits you hard, you need someone who will stand up and fight back for you. Andy Davis, attorney at law, serves Southern Middle Tennessee in personal injury, criminal defense, family law, bankruptcy, and more. Call today to set up your free consultation, where you'll get clear answers, honest guidance, and a plan built around your needs. Online at southerninjurylaw.com. This is an advertisement. Andy Davis, attorney at law, responsible for content. No representation is made that the quality of legal services is greater than that of other lawyers.
The future of healthcare starts here. The Southern Tennessee Regional Health System, Winchester and Suwannee, are joining the High Point Health System with Ascension St. Thomas, a health network serving communities across the state. We're working together to expand access, improve clinical quality, and keep you close to home throughout your care journey. Your favorite providers aren't going anywhere. It's the same care you know and trust, now with a new name. High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas. Learn more at highpointhealthsystem.com.
Looking to make a difference in Franklin County? The Franklin County Prevention Coalition works every day to build a safer, healthier community, free from substance misuse. Through education, outreach, and strong local partnerships, they empower parents, schools, and leaders to prevent addiction and support positive choices. From youth programs to community events, the coalition is here for you. Learn more or get involved today at fcpctn.org. Together, we prevent.
This project is funded under a grant contract with the State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
There was an outline for today's show, but it didn't survive the opening segment. Back to Joe and Chewy on the starting lineup right here on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Back here on the starting lineup, ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester. And I really appreciate the folks who have been involved in the show. I did get a message that said, this is a text message that said the EMA director, Scott Smith, and the communications director, Kathy Binkley, are the ones that should be asked about the radio situation. They have direct control. We paid to add a tower coverage several years ago, and all departments have been buying digital capable radios for years now. So that's the type of insight that I think is important to these conversations. And again, I don't know how in the weeds, we want to get on certain topics as far as like the details and the minutia. I think a lot of it goes back to policy and plans, having a plan, a realistic plan, and this is part of it, right? Is there's point and counterpoint. What you see is the issue with the radio communications, the traditional form of communications, has been identified probably years ago, right? And they have been working through what seems like in an organic manner, replacing, getting new radios into the vehicles and kind of working in that direction. And from the other side of things, you've got this idea that, well, we can just do it. Let's just do it, and make it happen, which is all well and good. But then you've got the well, why did the other side decide that wasn't able to happen? Right. Maybe they looked into grants and some other things like that and determined that they didn't qualify or whatever the case is. So we can get into the minutia of it, but I think that what we have determined is the comms are a talking point. The communications between first responders is a talking point, is a concern within, and what this sounds like, Chewy, is people who are very familiar with the situation, so it's within the departments around a community. This isn't like Joe doesn't have any concerns about the comms. It's not like I'm listening to the radios and I'm like, oh man, I can't understand what my app is saying. We need to get better radios.
Yeah.
No, this is coming from Brett Crabtree finally jumped in. Better late than never.
Hey, Brett.
This is coming from people within these departments that, like, yeah, there is an issue, and we're either working to make it better or we're not doing enough, right? Again, what level of priority is that, and how is it affecting the job that our officers and our first responders are doing? To what level? Is this on a scale of 1 to 10 from hey, this causes problems and it puts people's lives in danger, to, oh yeah, it's kind of a minor pain in the you-know-what? Where does it fall, right? Is this a 9 out of a 10, or is this like a 2 or a 3? And those are the things that we're trying to identify.
And those things can usually only be found in an open dialogue, an open, respectful forum.
Right. So the GPS is something that we talked about as well as the radios. And ironically, those are two things that are both technology-based improvements. There are plenty of things that we can get into on this. We're only really just scratching the surface. There's conversations that can be had about, vehicles and vehicle repair. There's conversations, like I said before, that can be had about the jails. There's conversations that can be had about staffing and when we put guys where and why we do that, what the need is and all that type of thing. And it all goes back to what is best for the community. What's best for the taxpayer from a safety standpoint, from a financial standpoint. Brett's head just exploded, by the way, if you're in the chat. So we're going to keep having the conversation. What I hope is evident after today's conversation is I'm not a mouthpiece for one side or the other. I am like a lot of people, and I've said this over and over again. If you're running for office, your job is to convince me. And if you're the incumbent, and you've done a good job, you may not have as much of an uphill battle as somebody who's coming in and trying to replace you.
Right.
That may not be fair, ultimately, but it is the reality of the situation. All right, coming up on the other side, Reliable Rentals Swap and Shop. This show is never long enough, in my opinion, but we'll be back with that on the other side. You can get involved in Swap and Shop as well if you go to 931go.com. You can list your items there. This is ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
You are late. Love you, Doug. Bye.
Looking for a reliable car at an affordable price? Stop by Money Down Motors here in Deckard. We specialize in quality pre-owned vehicles with low down payments and flexible financing options. No matter your credit history, drive away today with a car you'll love and a payment plan that works for you. Visit us at 1945 Deckard Boulevard or call 931-962-3404 for more info. At Money Down Motors, LLC, your ride is waiting.
It's time for a community calendar update presented by Minuteman Press in Tullahoma.
Here's what's happening this weekend in Franklin County. Remote Area Medical is bringing their free medical clinic to Winchester, June 6th and 7th at Franklin County High School. Services include free dental care such as cleanings and extractions, free vision exams with prescription glasses made on site, and full medical services including physicals, women's health exams, and general consultations. This clinic operates on a first-come, first-served basis until capacity is reached, and no ID is required. Parking opens Friday night at 11:59 p.m., and clinic doors open at 6 a.m. both Saturday and Sunday. This is an incredible opportunity for individuals and families needing quality health care at no cost. VFW Post 1893 is hosting a 4th of July silent auction with bidding ending June 6th at 6 p.m. The public is invited to bid on gift baskets, gift cards, gear, and more, all supporting veterans and our local community. For more details, call 931-967-1456. And don't forget to join them for the 4th of July celebration, featuring food, drinks, and fun for all ages. There will also be a huge family yard sale in Belvedere, June 5th and 6th at 714 Baxter Hollow Road in Belvedere, Tennessee. If you love hunting for bargains, home goods, furniture, clothes, and hidden treasures, this 2-day sale is worth the drive. And on Sunday, June 7th at 11 a.m., Church of Restoration in Cowan will be holding homecoming service. Michael Knight and the Redeemed will be singing, while Brother Hunter Cox will be preaching, and dinner will be served after the service. Pastor Lester Ashley invites everyone in our community to attend. In a small area like Franklin County, staying connected matters. Stay connected to your community with 931-GO and ESPN Radio Winchester.
Do you need high-quality printing services that help your business stand out? Minuteman Press in Tullahoma has you covered. Whether you need business cards, flyers, banners, signs, or custom apparel, we do it all. We specialize in posters, brochures, window graphics, books, and promotional products to make your brand shine. Plus, we offer a free local delivery to make things even easier for you. For all your printing needs, call or stop by Minuteman Press on North Jackson Street in Tullahoma. Your business will thank you.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1340 AM WCDT and 106.9 FM W295 AV Winchester, Southern Middle Tennessee sports leader, serving Franklin County.